afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. A 1 vs 1, a Monday novice fight to those with weak hearts, nerves, or other parts of their body. Please look away. You might be frightened by the noviceness. But we shall be watching right here Settinstein fighting for the Panzer League for the 17th SS, going up against Doomsnake, the Snake of Doom. Fighting for the United States, rolling out for the 3rd Armoured Division, encountering here a bit of a snafu when they get counterattacked by SS Panzergrenadiers. And be also noting immediately here a 2-engineer start from Doomsnake versus Settinstein with the Panzergrenadier and Kettenkampf start. There we go, more Panzergrenadiers following up. No additional Kettenkampf here for Settinstein. Also noting here the more right-hand start from Doomsnake. Also noting here that's actually a bit of a mistake, actually just saying about doing nothing, but apparently he's back going for a very quick Logistik company here, Mr. Settinstein. Of course we'll have to see how that one ends up working out. While he also uses his initial Panzergrenadier squad not to, for example, try and harass initial engineers, but actually also take points with. And again, then one really has to only take low points because the Panzergrenadiers already have a much lower capturing speed than most other units in the game. So that is also a good thing to remember. You won't be getting the most out of just using these for capturing. You're usually getting the most out of them if you use them to shoot the enemy in the face. And there we go, Logistik Company up here for Settinstein. And of course right here, I mean, in a sense, Settinstein is making a bit of a mistake. You're perhaps building it that quickly. I mean, it's a bit like playing the Soviets in companies too. You don't want a building right away. You usually want a bit more of an infantry force initially. And there we go, we are seeing additional Panzergrenadiers up. But already here we do see that Doomsnake is holding the larger force in some senses, at least more territory. Well, not really, but still, there's going to be a slight advantage for him quickly enough. So, but I mean, it's going to be more pronounced with the Soviets than with the Panzer League, because again, their infantry is considerably better than the conscripts back then. So, something though to keep in mind. Usually, you do not want to necessarily get a building right away, and if you do, you definitely want to be a better player than, for example, on a novice level. Right here, we do see another Panzergrenadier squad doing nothing. Not really good. Now we're seeing increased squad sizes. Obviously here Settinstein is opting for a more aggressive infantry approach, hoping to make up for his initial lack of boldness and speed and all that, with some more quicker raw force being poured straight into his enemy's front line. But right here we do see quickly that Doomsnake, of course, is going to overwhelm Settinstein's smaller infantry forces, who are also currently quite scattered. Also a bit of an odd choice from Settinstein. He's actually ignored the high munitions point right up there. That was definitely not one of the best moves, I would say. And of course he can't even hold this, so I mean ultimately seems a bit unproductive. But there we go, we are seeing the increased squad size. Of course again this also forces Settinstein to not really venture that far away, because again he wants, you know, those 4-man squads. He's getting another one, but at the same time he's going to have to pull forces back and reinforce and all that. But no, he's not even doing that. Come on, Settinstein, get back into the fight. In the meanwhile, we are seeing Doomsnake pouring up. Medic station going down. 3 rifleman squads. That's alright. That's alright. Although current placement of it is a bit too conspicuously out in the open. But it could work out, and there we go, we are seeing several 4-man squads. No, there's still one with only 3 men. They've sort of been left behind while they were sent up to the front line to do the fighting, beat the enemy. And we're rather going to head in there, attack the flank, but we do see a larger force from Settinstein going to then encounter the rifleman right there. 1 Panzergrenadier down, but these riflemen could definitely be running into a lot of problems very soon as more and more Panzergrenadiers arrive on the scene. And there we go, 8 Panzergrenadiers versus 6 riflemen. The Panzergrenadiers definitely will have the advantage there. We are seeing more riflemen moving in though from Doomsnake. It's a bit difficult for him to hold back this sort of force. Ultimately though, Settinstein's refusal to actually get into cover and allowing Doomsnake to remain in it rather means sure this fight did not actually quite work out into his favour. Again, cover matters. It's a bit of a novice mistake at times, forgetting that, cover matters. Cover always matters. Engineer sneaking up there. No, that's actually Rifleman. A bit of light skirmishing going on here. Medics are under fire. That is good. That is very good. Settinstein, you do not want those medics carrying back the wounded. Give air for the free upgrade for the Panzergrenadiers, increasing their firepower considerably. And Panzergrenadiers give air for the free, engaging these five out in the open. Not so well down there by Doomsnake, but he does manage to secure the fuel point. The question is, will he then be able to hold it? Well, I'm bound to say not very likely. But still, no cover either from Settinstein. I mean, there's really poor cover usage on the behalf of this Panzer player. That's actually a bit distressing, if not downright depressing. And that would definitely be the hallmark of a novice. I mean, we are seeing some aggressive play, but again, if you're unable to understand how cover works, you definitely got a long way ahead of you. I mean, this is very much a player who relies on extremely brute force, not very clever tactics. And it does also likely to suffer higher losses. I mean, if this has been sort of a Soviet conscript force, alright, but again, he's playing with Panzergrenadiers, and to play that kind of tactics with them can usually backfire on you. Supply already up for Doomsnake, the Snake of Doom. Who rather interestingly pulls away from that one instead of delaying the Panzergrenadiers perhaps a bit, but there you go. Might be that Settinstein can get back on the field. He's rather lacking the fuel again due to his slightly awkward progression. Again, lack of some sort of aggression and ultimately having to sort of form up a small block before he can finally push through. He's rather been denied quite a lot of fuel, which is definitely to the advantage of Doomsnake, who's already getting a tank dev up within the before the 10-minute mark. That is definitely something else to put in mind, and of course that is a bit of a hallmark of American play. They do have a slightly more lateral ticking structure than us, although again the Panzer fleet also has it. In fact, they have one of the most in companies. One again, you can just build one tier 1 building and then you access to the two others, because again there are only 2 tiers with the Panzer fleet. Same thing with the Soviets in companies too. Only difference is tier 2 does offer a bit more aggressive units straight up in terms of tanks. So that's something to remember. We are now seeing Settinstein going for a scout car, not an armoured car, despite having resources for it. Definitely odd play there. He could of course also consider upgrading one of his Panzergrenadiers with SCGs, because again he's got 4 man, and upgrading that with assault rifles is definitely going to be paying off. And in fact looks like he's doing that with the squad also currently getting reinforced and healed up. That's definitely a good move. Going to get the most out of that assault force. More riflemen going in here, actually using heavy cover here, and we are noting here that he's actually able to then to deliver a lot of casualties to Doomsnake as he's crawling forwards, doing his best. If only though he had grenades or BRs. And Doomsnake, get your men out of there! Why on earth do you insist on allowing them to be slaughtered like that? That was definitely not the world's best play right there. Scout car quickly flanking up on the rifleman right here. And mines, but right in front of the Kettenkrad. I mean, usually want to, not have your opponent knowing what you're doing with the mines. Just a casual suggestion there, Doomsnake.
Jaeger command is now available to aid our worthy cause. Superiority once again. Go ahead.
Mines are like Christmas presents. You don't want the other guy to know about them until it's, time. And by time, I mean when he steps on it, which is usually not what you want to happen with your Christmas presents, but you still get the point. It's supposed to be a surprise. Panzergun has been enforcing, alright force, but lacking in something a bit more finesse, like Doomsnake pushing up here, and we do see these 4 man equipped with assault rifles, definitely going to cause him a headache if he is not careful. which rather seems to be how Doomsnake is playing at the moment as well. Also looks like he actually lost a squad of infantry, which is actually pretty bad. And also looks like to be no upgrades on the way, but we do see a Sherman out for Doomsnake. That could actually give him quite the advantage, because currently Settinstein is absolutely vulnerable to anti-tank. I mean tanks, and he has got absolutely nothing in the anti-tank department, is what I was trying to say, but absolutely failed at. Enter to Doomsnake, again 2 infantry squads, 1 rifle engineer squad, not good, but there we go. Sherman is out, 50 caliber on top, he needs to push it forwards as aggressively as possible. Do as much damage as possible before he retreats. A bit slow there, and absolutely not quite successful attempt there by Doomsnake. He should have moved in faster, he should have exploited more the advantage he had gained. And of course now Settinstein will be forced to get some anti-tank. We also see some more riflemen on the way for Doomsnake, that is good. Also note here, medic station still standing, halfway there, having a full rifleman squad, but again, get moving Doomsnake, get moving, you're much too slow, much too passive, much too timid. Again, movement, movement, movement. Never have a unit standing about doing nothing. Never, ever, ever. If possible, have them take points if there are points to take, lay down wire, something. I mean, the only point where you really should be doing nothing is if you're absolutely forced on the defense, I mean, then you should be looking towards improving your defenses, and currently none of that is at all happening with Doomsnake, which is usually what you call a very bad thing. Now we do see Marder Fleet tank hunters arriving for the 17th SS, based on the Panzer 38T, armed with a Pak 40, although there was also a variant which was actually equipped with a modified Russian field gun. And by modified is, what I mean is that the Germans fully rifled it and also modified the gun to use slightly different ammo. But the thing about most of the Russian field guns was they were actually not fully rifled, they were only about halfway, the rest was smooth bore, which rather meant they didn't quite get as much armor penetration power. And then of course when the Germans did it, they actually managed to get something quite nice. Scout car here in a bit of trouble. Tellermines going down there for Settinstein. Scout car being spotted by the Sherman, going to try and get away, but not really succeeding at it. Already taking a nasty bit of damage there from 50 caliber and main gun damage engine. That is bad news. And looks like that scout car could go down in a blaze of glory. But we are seeing here now that finally Doomsnake is progressing heavily, but then there's also pretty much no response at all from Settinstein. And there you go, scout car goes down in a blaze of glory, and a telephone pole falls down upon it. Sherman rolls ahead, and well, that's awkward. That's the first time I've ever seen that. That the Tellermine does absolutely no damage to the tank, but on the other hand, all the infantry standing next to the tank, of course, get absolutely devastated. Of course, I mean, Tellermines, when they detonate, will do terrible things to any infantry nearby. But still, that's quite incredible. I'm sure there's something in the stats that somehow allows it, but that's sort of, you know, once in a blue moon. And he actually sends the squad further and gets them killed. Oh, Doomsnake. We do see another rifle squad actually reformed there from the medic station. That's a small relief. Panzergrenadiers quickly run off. Rather than fighting a bit of desperate fight here, as Panzergrenadiers pulled in from several sides, they have no proper support. They're going to get overwhelmed in seconds. In particular, as 2 squads fully equipped with assault rifles are pouring in. And it looks like he's actually sending them into the house now, which is semi-alright, but also note here again, only 3 windows, meaning they're not going to go the most out of things either. Also, infantry have been chosen, artillery called in straight there on the entire thing. Panzergrenadiers mostly retreat. Artillery continues to rain down a bit of wasted there, close to the house in fact. Very close, and now he's actually getting them out. That could have gone very ugly if he'd not timed that correctly. I can't imagine the riflemen were entirely happy about that idea either. Though perhaps they might have said something to offend the commander. Possibly remarks about his wife resembling Burl Ives. What do I know? Bit of manpower there being floated. Marder's holding up here, definitely going to be a deterrent for the Sherman. Of course, they can't be everywhere. And the Sherman, of course, is then going to hit infantry elsewhere, like, for example, over here. The engineer squad suffered a terrible fate, though, to the Panzergrenadiers. Bit of rate there, but we are, of course, seeing now a hetzer out to quickly put a stop to Doomsnake's Sherman shenanigans. But at the same time, rifle squad being put up there to apply pressure. Sherman needs to get moving out of there, using the building for cover, and we're seeing artillery called in right here. We actually see the Panzers then proceeding to retreat straight into the artillery. That is a bit of a bad idea. And he gets in front of the hetzer again. Why on earth are you doing that, Doomsnake? So far, the only doom I'm seeing is most of the doom of your own men. And that Sherman's going to go down. No Afghan, no support. It was a nice idea, but ultimately backfired on him. And there we go. Sherman is out of control. Ultimately didn't do a lot of damage, actually, which means it was overall a bit of a waste of resources, I think. Although at the same time, it has rather engendered the responsibility of 2 Martyrs, which is actually quite a bit of resources as well. Sticky bomb quickly on the hetzer. And a damaged engine. And the Sherman very much out of control, wildly careening. Riflemen, engineers just jumping to the sides as it rolls ahead like a speeding train. No, it's just a huge lumbering piece of crap. And there we go, finally explodes. And a mine goes off there, destroying the engine of the Marder, and no one seems to care. The Marder goes like, yeah, this is a bit awkward. Let's just try and look cool, yeah. Except, of course, there's a driver who's like, shit! Everything's on fire! The compartment above me is on fire! Help! And then like, shah! Johann, you're always such a girl. It's just a bit of fire, and I suppose you're getting cooked down there. Never mind. Quick repairs here. No upgrade, though. If you had gotten extra repairs, you really could quick get that hetzer quickly repaired. But again, we do see a lot of downtime for Settinstein. He's very much, again, raw, brutal blobbing, and again, that's pretty terrible at holding a map. Because, I mean, Doomsnake rather is good at holding that bag off, and now we're seeing lots of mines as well, which really makes it difficult. And that's also nice to see in a Monday fight again. You know, mines. Mines are good. A quick Kettenkraut break out here in the west. Marder getting repaired as quickly as possible. Extinguishing the fire above the driver. Riflemen here getting a bit surprised as Panzers pull up. They quickly pull back though as more riflemen join in the fight and the automatic fire gets heavier. BAR there has been picked up. That's lovely. A bit of fighting around the crane and the old bus. And another Sherman out for Doomsnake. Quickly equipping another 50 caliber. He seems to love his 50 caliber machine guns. And there we go, more riflemen advancing forwards. Straight into the range of the assault rifles. That might actually be considered a very bad idea. In fact, there we go. Doomsnake's poor choice of tactics rather is resulted in him losing a squad of riflemen without actually killing a single Panzer. He might even lose another one. Oh dear. But again, very much blob tactics, very much raw tactics. In this case, also losing in some men to mines. And the hetzer has been pulled back at the front line. Another rifleman squad on the way to replace the one lost there for Doomsnake. And quickly losing most of the map again. It's not really, you know, a fast-paced game. It's a bit more slower. Things happening, then for like your part, not a lot happening. Hetzer crushes a poor bastard who apparently managed to get himself crushed under a hetzer not moving. I mean, really, Joe. You're not exactly doing your family proud there. We're going straight after the hetzer. Martyrs are pulling up. Of course, they can help a bit with the Sherman, but ultimately they won't be doing much against infantry. Probably going to a lot more sticky bombs at it. And there we go, Martyrs setting up. Sherman needs to get away very, very quickly. Hetzer finding himself with the destroyed engine on fire. Also based, by the way, on the Panzer 38T, just like the Marder. And now the Marder's the one getting sticky bomb, damaged engine. Once more, the driver finds himself a bit imperiled as the entire thing gets incredibly hot. Panzergrenadiers moving forwards, counter-attacking, going to perhaps try to bury those riflemen with vicious assault rifle fire. And there we go, Hetzer goes down. Marder. Oh, Marder, I mean, but we might see. Yes, another rifle squad wiped out. Again, Doomsnake might want to have slightly better contingency plans in place, better unit preservation. He's losing an awful lot of riflemen in not so sensible ways. Rangers now being sent out into the field. And of course with Thompsons they can do quite a bit, but one also has to remember that the assault rifles right here will ignore the elite armor's damage resistance bonus. It's damage reduction. So they will pretty much be doing full damage to Rangers as they do to riflemen. Something vital to remember. And there we go, Thompson submachine guns on the way. Grenades on the way as well for Doomsnake, that's interesting. Could perhaps do some quite nice damage there against the more blob-like tactics of Settinstein and the 17th SS. And it's time to return back to Settinstein as we see another rifle squad going to get cut down. Again, Doomsnake wants to work, should work on his unit preservation. It is rather telling how many men he loses in a slightly unwholesome fashion. And there we go, grenade going off on the Panzergrenadiers, but oh, Doomsnake through at a moving squad rather than trying to figure out where they might stop up. Again, you know, tip on throwing grenades, try to hit the path of movement, not where they already are, because again then they'll already have moved. That definitely could have been done better. We do see right veterans, 2 rifle squad. The Rangers need to get back for reinforcement. Have so far done very little to stop the Hun. Panzergrenadier upgrade, seal, anti-tank grenades. Lots of infantry upgrades right there for Settinstein and the 17th SS. And there you go, rifleman going in after that Marder. And the Marder quickly retreating.
Panzer, anti-tank grenades are available to eliminate enemy armor. Must work together to defeat our enemies.
And there we go, lots of infantry upgrades. Again, will likely be used by Settinstein to further blob up. Rather sadly. But a second Sherman outfit. No, that's the first one actually, because it didn't do any damage. Never mind then. Just briefly thought he might have gotten another. But Doomsnake actually needs to get some numbers of them. He actually wants to take out all the tank destroyers and such. Then there we go, grenade. Much better thrown about bleeding time. There we go, 1 squad of Panzers going up, but he loses the veterans to rifle squad. Again, Doomsnake. The only doom happening is that of your own men as you keep wasting them. Another grenade. Not quite as well timed, and there we go, fine retreating in time, but again, so many riflemen lost. And a lot of them in less than good ways. The only thing holding them together is a medic station, which he, by the way, rebuilt. That is good. And that's probably what is largely helping him stay afloat at the moment. So that is definitely nice. And now looks like something is lighting up in the tank depot. Question is, what will it be? What will it be? And my apologies if I sound a bit sleepy. Didn't quite get enough full sleep last night. I suddenly had to hand in an assignment, which rather meant staying up very, very late. Mostly due to the fact that the university can be a bit unclear on when they want those assignments, so I rather had to make a guess and a snap decision. Also means I'm done with assignments for this semester, but securing the victory point right there. It's nearby. Kettenkrad pulling away with great speed. Schnell, kleines Kettenkrad, get me out of here. Preferably towards Berlin. Sherman following up here, supporting the infantry. That is good. That's good. Ooh, spotting a marder. And opening up, perhaps. And there we go, nice hit, but so... Oh, Marder's first shot quite misses besides marking again. Settinstein on a blob move. Again, quite depressing. Rifle moving up there. Sticky bomb on the Hetzer. Mine spotted there of Doomsnakes. Sherman pulling away there. And a quick sticky bomb there might sort out the Marder. And... Nope, only a destroyed engine, impressively enough. But Rifleman being very close to getting caught up there in the huge blob, but ultimately managed to retreat. And of course, right here, considering the sort of blobbing tactics that Settinstein is resorting to, airborne doctrine and a strafing round might also have been a quite useful thing for Doomsnake to have considered. Rangers sneaking up here with the Thompsons and bazookas. Kettenkrad doing his best to repair the Marder, and there we go, the mine actually gets detonated. That's nice, but so does the Marder as a bazooka rocket connects with the considerably thin armor. And a mine goes off as the Panzergrenadiers advance, and then artillery gets called in. Not really good artillery call-ins, and again it's just infantry can move away for the light part, but no, he doesn't move it. Oh lordy lord. And also note, he's floating over 1,000 manpower. That is definitely also very, very bad. You really should not be floating 1,000 manpower. He's also got plenty of fuel now, so use it. Use it for heaven's sake. Get some panzers out. Go for a Panther battle group. Go for something. Just don't float a bleeding 1,000 manpower. That is just awful. But again, Doomsnake is holding most of the map. As for the mid-game analysis, again, very dominating American play. Again, that's the problem with blobbing up. It's very terrible at map control if your opponent does know, at least plays somewhat decently. Again, blobbing up is rather, reliant on being able to really deliver some series of crossing blows and then holding the rest of the map in some way. And problem is, he's doing nothing like that, and there are no armoured cars to deter harassment. Had he done that, there would have been a chance, but again, there's none of that, so it rather means, again, he's incredibly reliant on the blob, and again, it simply can't hold territory. It's also an expensive blob, so I mean, in many ways, Settinstein is simply setting himself up for a long-term defeat if he's not careful. I mean, he's going to be very dependent on absolutely crippling Doomsnake, which Doomsnake so far rather seems to have been largely obliging him by wasting a ton of infantry. But again, as soon as Doomsnake, rather gets his act together, things are definitely going to get more dangerous. The Sherman certainly doesn't help, and nor do all the mines. I mean, while Doomsnake is doing some things wrong, he's also doing some things right, and those things he's doing right is definitely helping him win, because the things Settinstein are doing wrong are considerably much more grave and undermining for his own efforts. So that is something very vital to consider. Green barrels. Who would have thought? But again, for Settinstein, he needs to divide his force into slightly more sensible assault groups. He needs to work towards getting either a Panther battle group or some Panzer IV or Hotchkisses or whatever, and he needs to deliver more diverted attacks, one here and then one here or here and here. He needs to decide what part of that he wants to hold, and then he needs to hold it, because again, the holding part is also something he's pretty much rubbish at. Again, it's very much a raw force player without much strategy or tactics. Though again, there is some aggressive spirit, which is nice, but again, there's a lack of a coherent idea so far. But let's return to the fight. I mean, to a certain extent, that could be said about Doomsnake as well. There seems to be not quite a fully coherent idea, but there's some good underbuilding things. Mines, medic stations, the armor rush, all those, they are definitely good ideas. They're definitely some promising ideas. But again, there's also a lot of things that need some very serious work, including infantry preservation, which again is pretty much abysmal at the moment. Sherman rolling back, another one at the front. More Hetzers out for Settinstein, rolling ahead without infantry support, rather recklessly, and there we got a swift sticky bomb. It's delivered.
He has destroyed a vehicle.
Kenkrat went down to one Sherman right there. And they're gonna is victoriously advancing forwards, but again across home ground. If he gets off suppressive fire right here, that could absolutely wreck things. For Settinstein or a grenade in the right place, but no, none of that. None of that from Doomsnake. Again, seems to be very short on the Doom. He seems to imply this to his name. Rifleman squad almost wiped out. We do finally see some suppressive fire, but it's too late. And a Panzer squad gets wiped out by the Sherman. Definitely good news. Rangers are moving in. They should try and get closer to the Hetzers, perhaps try and flank up here. And where's the other squad of Rangers in the meanwhile? Riflemen are also taking heavy losses.
The enemy is impacted.
These Rangers have been doing nothing. Come on, Doomsnake again. You're dooming your own men, and not the enemies. Which is considerably less good. Kenkrat here seems to be allowed to just continue doing what it wants. Victory points are also looking considerably in the favour of Doomsnake, though. And again, Settinstein's strategy, if you will call it that, decide to call that, is again not very strong, not very coherent, and not really taking into account anything about the map, topography, or anything like that. And there we go, Kenkrat down again. Lots of units being wasted right there by Settinstein as well. And we're seeing the 4th building going out of Panzer support command now for Settinstein. But he's at least keeping up and also getting the medic shot, so that's something. That is about it. And returning to Doomsnake. Rangers unleashing a volley from their Thompsons. Sherman moving up in support. Hetzers there, also able to provide fire support. A bit more rigidly though, and there we go. Ranger immediately gets blasted, but for some reason he's actually exposing the flanks. What is he doing with his Hetzers? What is he doing? Not entirely sure. He's avoiding losing a lot of good time to actually fire away at the Rangers, supporting his own infantry. Going to get caught out in the open. There's a time for maneuver and there's a time for just shooting, for heaven's sake. And now looks like he's actually trying to flank with this Hetzers. He's going to mistake behind, and we're seeing both Hetzers with a damaged engine. And a full retreat. I mean, Settinstein right there, for some bizarre reason, decides to get all clever. And, I mean, he's using Hetzers like tanks, which they are not. If it does not have a turret, it is not a tank. If it has tank destroyer in the name, it is not a tank either. This is an assault gun that you do not lead ahead with. The Germans tried to use them like tanks because sometimes they simply had no other choice, and it rarely went well. If you want to use them as tanks even remotely, they have to work with actual tanks to cover up their less tanky sides. Sherman here might be running into a bit of problem. Get it out of there, get it out of there. Hetzer though getting sticky bomb, getting blasted, shot at, destroyed engine. Panzergrenadiers getting shot at as well, also taking considerably losses. The main gun destroyed. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But the riflemen and Rangers nearby are also taking punishing losses. And the Hetzers are sending the frontal armor towards the Sherman. That at least is a good idea to at least give some sort of remote chance of survival.
Enemy unit down.
And there we go, Panzergrenadiers wiped out, rather unfortunate. Panzergrenadiers counter-attacking. Anti-tank grenades flying and absolutely missing the target by a wide margin. Settinstein continues to point the armor towards the enemy. Good, good. At least he's got some basics right. Hetzer pulling up. Of course, that could also be just doing mechanically as well, so I might be giving credit for something I shouldn't, who knows. But Hetzer on the road, and of course note the remotely controlled machine gun on top. The Hetzer was one of the few assault guns actually have that. The other one was in fact the Stug 3G. Later variants were in fact equipped with a remotely controlled machine gun on top. Of course, there was still the problem reloading, which rather meant one guy had to pop his head out and reload, change magazine. which did actually expose him to fire. Looks like the medic station will go down. Looks like we are seeing expert repair, since that one squad of Panzergrenadiers is repairing remarkably quickly. So that's good news for Settinstein, but that's about the only good news for the time being. As again, his unit preservation has rather cost him a lot of units, but so has Doomsnake. Now Doomsnake is definitely building up a larger force, and again Doomsnake had the medic station to really, soak up a lot of the overall casualties. That's also important. No upgrades to the Shermans, no up guns. That would definitely be beneficial against the Hetzers. Not entirely sure why he's putting it into ambush when the opponent already knows it's there, and just means he'll be easily able to flank it. That was definitely an odd choice. Panzergrenadiers swiftly moving up. Rangers getting caught right in front of the assault rifles. And note again, they take so much damage from the assault rifles. Assault rifles simply don't care of your elite infantry. It's just an assault rifle that will tear you up. Ranger squad wiped out. Once more, Doomsnake dooms his men. But we also see that ultimately Settinstein is forced away, leaving behind only a few Hetzers. As points also continue to tick down. And veterans of 3 Panzergrenadiers of Gewehr 43 is moving in. Dual defensive infantry. I think, offensive infantry might help, since it would make the Hetzer more likely to kill infantry, and of course also make the MG more likely to kill something. Just a thought. Rangers caught out in the open, suffering punishing casualties now from the offensive veterans of 3 Panzergrenadiers. Nasty stuff. Rangers going to move up their flank, and more riflemen pouring in from the front as well. Absolutely huge assault, and simply Settinstein cannot provide the amount of firepower to stop that. Other heads are not able to support the first one, also a bad move. Panzergrenadiers quickly rushing ahead. Damaged engine on that little thing. And more bazookas. Panzergrenadiers moving up.
Stand firm, allies. Battle is ours.
And Rangers getting absolutely gutted in the process. Almost, in fact, completely wiped out. And I'm not entirely sure why Doomsnake is not just retreating. We're also seeing Hellcats out now, and he's actually upgrading them with 50 calibers. That is... well, most players don't really bother. I mean, they do something slightly, but it's never really worth it unless you can get a lot of them, and that's going to be expensive in munitions, which could then be used for other things. So overall, you rarely see it because it's largely not worth it. Also, again, no up guns for the Shermans. You really should consider that. Also, Raven again, risking them too much. Doomsnake once more, getting greedy, dooming his men. Oh no. And a Jagdpanther rolls out for Settinstein, called in from some Schwerer Panzerjäger-Abteilung, armed with the 88mm Pak 43, a devastating weapon. Pretty much able to knock out any allied tank.
We're losing a munitions point.
Without problems. Although it largely only served on the Western Front, it only arrived on the Eastern Front by 1945 in February. So rather limited amount of time there. On the Western Front, though, it really was a terror. It saw quite a lot of service against the Allies, against the British, Americans, during Normandy, and also, of course, later battles. Quite an effective piece of machinery. 80mm of sloped armor. You course meant it had a nice frontal armour, and of course no weak spots since it had no turret or anything, just that very sloped piece of armour. Of course it also meant it had some of the same, problems as the Panther, which included, of course, it was very high on maintenance, amongst other things. And of course also a bit mechanically unreliable, as that was in fact one of the problems with the Panthers as well. In fact, they were less reliable than a Tiger tank, although again with the Tiger that was also dependent on it getting properly maintained. So definitely some things there. Still, very lovely piece of machinery. Shall be missed in Companies 2, though we do get the Elephant, and who knows what else we might get in the future. It was certainly not the first German heavy tank destroyer with the 88 Pak 43. That would have been the Nashorn, which was pretty much just a Pak 43 mounted on the same chassis as the Hummel, and were the initial Schwerer Panzerjägers. And then we actually see Doomsnake forming up a considerable armoured force. We're also seeing upguns, we're seeing smoke discharges. That's not so good in Company Heroes, although in Company Heroes 2, smoke discharges, that is, the ability to deploy smoke on your tanks, is quite a lovely ability and should not be underestimated. Hetzers firing away, there's Rangers coming in. Looks like we might be seeing a large armoured assault going in from Doomsnake. 2 Hetzers, 1 Jagdpanther, and bugger all infantry. That's actually a pretty bad thing. And there we go, the assault has commenced. But it looks like Doomsnake's armour is not moving an inch, which is a bit more lacking. Rangers and Riflemen getting blasted there by the Hetzers, although one Hetzer does suffer considerable damage in the process. Jagdpanther gets another kill. Infantry finally arriving at the same time, though the Shermans and the Hellcats roll forwards. Jagdpanther's rear is exposed to the Hellcats. Can Doomsnake keep it up? Can he keep flanking? No, he stops up in front as the Jagdpanther turns. That is very bad news. That is very bad news for Doomsnake's Hellcats. Panzergrenadiers getting absolutely blasted, trying to get off anti-tank grenades on the Shermans. Veterans too. Why is he leaving them right there? And at the same time, Hetzer's getting flanked by Rangers. And there we go. Hellcat down. An absolute waste of a Hellcat. Jagdpanther down to less than half health. Hetzer's not in a good position now. We are seeing, in fact, upgun Shermans clearing them out. Veterancy 2 already meaning increased penetration. Might soon gain Veterancy 3. Hellcat there likely to go down if he's not careful. Panzergrenadiers moving up. Carnage, destruction, Hetzers and Hellcats blowing up. And there we go, a Veterancy 3 Sherman, but it is now under fire from the Jagdpanther. He needs to deploy smoke, at least try it and just get out of there. He cannot remain in front of it. But he's now deploying it, simply too slow. And now he deploys the smoke, but again it is simply too late. In many cases for Doomsnake, when he finally reacts with infantry, with armour, it is too late. He needs to work on basically reacting a bit faster. And currently he does seem to be reacting a bit as if though it was World War I. So here Settinstein has survived, but at considerable loss. And Doomsnake is rather beaten up as well. But Doomsnake does hold the victory point advantage, speeding this up a bit. He's going to hit up there because clearly Settinstein can't defend it all. Bagatiga pummeling. No! Just take the point, man! No. Doomsnake! Sometimes you do manage to completely amaze, and now he's just losing a rifleman squad. In fact, the guy who threw the sticky bomb was just crushed as his back through. Probably prompting the driver of the Jagdpanther to go, I think we hit someone's dog. 9, you probably hit an American. Ah, never mind, son. And there you go, Rangers. Assault rifle panzers moving over there, and the riflemen's, Rangers, simply retreat in the face of this firepower. And there we go, all for victory points in the hands of the Germans. Kettenkraut though went down. Can Doomsnake pull out a victory after this? Again, he's lost a lot of units quite senselessly, but so has Settinstein. Again, speeding up a bit.
The enemy has
Going in after the base. Going for the victory points, which Mr. Settinstein can't quite cover. And there we go, it heads out. Rangers advancing again versus a wall of assault rifles. And then decides to call in artillery on it, prompting the Panzergrenadiers to move closer to the Rangers, which is really not what Doomsnake wants. But it looks like in this case it works out as the Sherman arrives. So that sort of worked out, but again, heavy losses. We also see a Bergetiger recovering as much as possible. But also an increasingly confused effort from Doomsnake. I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to achieve with those tank destroyers at all. And Settinstein is just desperate. He's moving in Armada with a non-operational gun. And this Bergetiger needs to get away. Oh dear, the carnage. And there we go, heads out of control. And Marder wrecked again. Victory point secured, and GG from Settinstein. GG and well played from Doomsnake, that's very nice of him. And there we go again, one of the recurring themes here again being unit preservation. Absolutely thrusting your units into absolutely insane or hopeless situations, not retreating them in time, not considering retreat paths, all those things. A lot of infantry simply wasted in so many completely senseless manners. Happened a bit with armor as well, trying to use headsets as tanks, not retreating Shermans in time, although at other times it did show some sense of preservation, so that's something. But ultimately though, what Settinstein failed in also was map control, because again, why? He blobbed up. Blobs are terrible at controlling the map. They're sort of alright in damaging the opponent if again he can't come up with a decent counter tactic, which he even managed. So again, I mean, overall Settinstein really needs to learn how to use infantry much more properly. He needs to build a more proper forced composition, because again it was very much the blob it all relied on. There was nothing to say cover other weaknesses. It was a very flat and one-dimensional strategy he used. Heads and all that came forward, but again that was pretty much a direct response to armors showing up, nothing else. There was no real coherent strategy from Settinstein, which really hurt him, because even Doomsnake's, which was not exactly Manstein levels of clever, if even remotely, that was still there. There was still something going on, and he ultimately pulled it off. There was something with medic stations, there was something with attrition, upgrades, and clearly an armored rush. So there was a strategy. And again, I mean, if you don't have a strategy, you're going to lose in a strategy game. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay video and provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.